Both hands on the wheel of a stolen armored truck, you push the pedal to the floor and aim 9 tons of Soviet steel straight at the Berlin Wall. It's the evening of the 17th of April, 1963. You're 19, a civilian mechanic for the East German Army, and the only thing between you and West Berlin is a slab of concrete and the men ordered to shoot anyone who runs. You hold the pedal flat. The wall fills the windshield. Then the truck hits, and it doesn't go through. It stops dead, jammed in the concrete, with you still on the wrong side. 20 months earlier, this border was a city street you could cross on foot. Then, overnight in August 1961, it became this. Not one wall, but a system. An outer wall, a strip of raked sand, watchtowers, and an inner wall, a corridor designed so that anyone caught inside it can be seen and shot before they reach the other side. They call it the death strip. By the time you grip this wheel, it has already killed. Over the years, the wall will claim at least 140 lives. You are about to drive into the middle of it, on purpose. You know what the death strip does, because the whole city watched it happen. The summer before, a bricklayer named Peter Fechter, 18 years old, tried to climb out near Checkpoint Charlie. A guard shot him, and he fell back into the strip, and he lay there bleeding, while soldiers on one side and crowds on the other did nothing. It took him about an hour to die in the open. That is the rule you are about to break. The order is to shoot, and the order has been obeyed. There is no version of this where the guards hesitate. So a stolen truck is not a reckless idea. It is the only idea with armor on it. You are not who they would expect. By your own account, you were raised a good socialist. You believed most of it. What broke it was small and personal. You and some friends were picked up near the border and accused of trying to flee the Republic, and your own mother, who worked for the Stasi, the secret police, showed you no sympathy at all. What shocked you, you would say later, was how completely a person could hold the line that the party is always right, even against their own son. That was the moment. You told yourself you would take the very next chance to get out. The chance is parked in your own motor pool. Your job is to keep the Army's vehicles running, and one of them is a BTR-152, a Soviet armored personnel carrier, 6 wheels, open-topped, built to carry a squad of infantry behind plates of welded steel. It is not a tank. It has no cannon. But it weighs 9 tons, and it does not care about a fence. You do the slow work nobody notices. You make friends with the drivers, and you let them teach you, piece by piece, how to start it, how to steer it, how to throw it into gear. Then you wait for the ordinary moment that opens the door. The crews walking off to eat, leaving the machine sitting in the yard with the keys in reach. Here is the part you could not have planned. You drive a stolen armored carrier straight through the streets of East Berlin in the evening, and the traffic police wave you through. To them, an army vehicle on the road is the most normal thing in the world. They stop the cars at the intersections. They hold up their hands and let you pass. The most controlled state on earth, built to watch everyone, is escorting its own escape because the uniform on the machine looks right. For a few minutes, you are not a fugitive. You are just another green truck the system trusts, rolling toward the one place the system never wanted you to reach. A few hundred meters from the border, you stop. You lean out and you call to the people on the street. Anyone who wants out, get in now. This is the way. Nobody moves. Maybe they don't believe you. Maybe they have more to lose than you do. Whatever the reason, they stay on the curb and watch. So it will be you, alone, in a borrowed machine, against the most heavily guarded line in Europe. You face the windshield again. Somewhere ahead, past the buildings, is the strip, and the wall, and the towers. You take your foot off the brake. You build speed down the last stretch, and you do not lift. The fortification comes up fast. Concrete, wire, the gray face of it. The carrier hits the barrier, and the whole world lurches. Metal folds, the front crumples into the wall, and the heavy diesel engine, shoved past what it can take, stalls and dies. And the truck stops. It is punched into the wall and stuck there, nose buried in the concrete, like a key broken off in a lock. You are not through. You are halfway, pinned in the gap you just made, and the engine that carried you here is silent. Every plan you had ended at the word stuck. The armor that protected you is now a steel box that traps you, and the exit is back toward the east. So you climb. Out of the hatch, over the crumpled front, and straight down into the coils of barbed wire the truck dragged in with it as it tore through. You land in it. It catches your clothes, your skin, your hands. You are out of the machine and you are tangled in the open, on the death strip, exactly where Peter Fechter was, in full view of the towers. Behind you, the guards have already seen everything. Ahead of you, a few meters of wire and concrete, and then the west. A border guard is maybe 5 meters away. You shout the only word you have. Don't shoot. He shoots anyway. The first round goes into your back and comes out the front of your chest, and one of your lungs collapses. A second shot ricochets and tears splinters into your hand. You are bleeding, hung up in the wire, a few feet from a border you can almost touch and cannot reach. By every rule of this place, you should die here, in the strip, the way Fechter did. The guard is not done, and you have nothing left to do but hold on. On the western side, the shots bring people out of a nearby bar, a savings club of all things, in the middle of its evening. A West Berlin policeman draws his weapon and fires back across the line, putting himself between you and the guards. And the people from the bar do not wait. They reach into the wire on the wrong side of the law and the wrong side of the wall, and they pull. Hands on your arms, on your jacket, dragging you out of the coils and over the last of the concrete, onto western ground, where they hold you and try to stop the bleeding. You have crossed. You did not do it alone, and you are barely alive. Engels said he knew it was real when he turned his head and saw the shelf. And the bottles on it were Western brands, liquor you could never get on the other side. That was the proof. Not the guards, not the wire, not the pain. A row of bottles a state could not control. They get him to a hospital in the West. He has a collapsed lung and wounds to his hand and head, and he spends about 3 weeks putting himself back together. He lives. The 19-year-old mechanic who drove an army's own machine through its wall is, against every rule of that strip, still breathing. His mother, the one who showed him no sympathy, never forgave him. To her, he was a traitor, and she treated him like one. He built a life anyway. He finished his training, and he became a teacher, history and biology, in a small town in the West, spending his days explaining to children the country he had to be shot to leave. The wall he drove into would stand for another 26 years, until 1989, killing more people the whole time. He outlived it. Asked about it decades later, he did not flinch. No regrets, he said. It was hard at the start, but he had a good life on this side. So could you ram the Berlin Wall in a stolen truck and live? The honest answer is that almost no one could, and that Engels nearly didn't. The plan was sound. Armor against bullets, weight against concrete, and the plan still failed at the only moment that mattered, when the truck stuck fast and left him in the open to be shot. What carried him the last few meters was not the machine. It was a policeman who chose to fire back, and a room full of strangers who chose to reach into the wire. The wall worked because everyone believed no one would reach in to help. On a sidewalk in Neukölln, on the 17th of April, 1963, a West Berlin policeman and a room full of strangers proved that wrong. Next time, you're not driving at the wall. You're underneath it, on your hands and knees in a tunnel you dug by hand, in the dark, with the death strip directly overhead and 57 people crawling toward you, one at a time. That story is on screen now.